The first time I've heard that term.
Okay, when you have a moment, Google wall Martians, and you will find so many sites with photos of people in Walmart who dress in clothing that you cannot even imagine.
Okay, I've come to see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there's
okay.
hundreds and hundreds of you went out in public dressed like that?
Yeah, the office firewall right now is giving me all sorts of alerts.
Oh boy, it's like well, they're not just underdressed. They're also dressed in weird. It's like, do people dress to go to Walmart? Is that part of the thing? You could spend a happy afternoon going through some of these pictures, but you'll come away wondering about the future of mankind. Your eyes just bugged out. You must have seen a good one. Well, they're all good ones.
I'm seeing, they're all good, depending on your worldview. I'm seeing one where a gentleman apparently is shopping in a Walmart dressed solely in a box. And I'm also seeing what looks like a woman with a tail. So this is going to occupy a lot of my afternoon.
I have to believe this is not just what they wear around the house. That they actually went to Walmart to get photographed as a wall Martian. Anyway, of course, the Smart Food Flamin' Hot White Cheddar Popcorn is available at Walmart and Sam's Club, because that's where these things always show up, because the wall Martians must be fed this stuff. The couple has been eating their wedding cake for 50 years. Now, when I got married, we took a piece of the wedding cake and we froze it, put it in the fridge, and a year later we defrosted it, and it tasted pretty good, except for a little freezer burn, but not bad at all. It had been a good cake in the first place. It continued to be a good cake. It says here it's a tradition for couples to freeze the top tier of their wedding cake and tuck into a slice on their one-year anniversary, which we did. David and Ann Calburn have taken it a little further. On every anniversary past 49 years, this West Grove, Pennsylvania couple has enjoyed a slice of their wedding cake, or crumbs in recent years. They've kept it in the freezer for half a century. It's survived 5 house moves. And every year on July 18th, they thaw a small piece to share. It's just a fun, romantic thing we do. 50 years. 50 years, 3 children, 4 grandchildren. And they still cut into their 3-tiered vanilla confection. It was a very special cake, they say. And there was so much of it. How much did they save to be eating it for 50 years?
Maybe no one showed up to their wedding.
That could happen. Stuff like that could happen. They were going to. They did it in the hope that they would appear on the old TV show I've Got a Secret, the old Gary Moore show, and they clearly the show long ago faded from history. It's Schindler. I get myself hungry doing this show. I hope I got you a little hungry too. I'll catch you next week here on Feed Your Face on CRN Digital Talk Radio. In the meantime, eat something good. Man, you deserve it. Schindler, I'm out of here.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin'. And take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help you pick out that perfect bottle of wine. Stream episodes of the Sonoma Wine Report through our CRN app, TuneIn Radio, Nobex, Stitcher, UTunes, or AHA Radio, and start planning that unforgettable weekend in the wine country. They're in your corner on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and many other apps. And of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. For more information on where to listen to these great shows, along with many others, log on to crntalk.com and create your own listening experience today.
The radio channels. The radio channels. CRN.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. Police in West Texas are responding to a report of an active shooter near Odessa. One report says the suspect hijacked a U.S. mail truck and is randomly shooting at people, and so far there have been multiple victims reported. Midland, Texas police say there may be more than one shooter. Hurricane Dorian bearing down on the northwestern Bahamas as a fierce Category 4 storm, with the new path projections curving upward just enough to potentially spare Florida a direct hit while threatening it with powerful winds and storm surges. And while many islanders are evacuating, some are staying, though, like this resident of Nassau, they're taking Dorian seriously.
Each storm brings with it its own set of challenges, or, the risk. And, having been through so many of them over the course of my life here in the Bahamas, you tend to respect each one of them.
Bahamian Prime Minister Hubert Minnis says the storm surge will not simply be an in and out.
This surge would not be a one-time surge. It would be repeated surges coming to your shores and at your homes.
Ford is recalling a number of vehicles.
Ford is recalling more than 550,000 trucks and SUVs in North America because seatbacks may not properly restrain people in a crash. The recall covers certain 2018 through 2020 F-150 pickups, 2019 and 2020 Super Duty trucks, 2018 and 2019 Explorer SUVs, and 2019 and 2020 Expedition SUVs. Ken Lorman reporting.
And you can always check out more news. You can read the best analysis. They're both at townhall.com.
Something you need to know about Pete and Seth Talbot, the father-son owners. They're on a mission to help as many people as possible to get out of pain. They've been a consistent sponsor of this show. In radio, sponsors come and go. They may even stay for a year or so, and then they're gone. Not so with Relief Factor. Pete and Seth are consistent year after year. Why? Because tens of thousands of people are now taking Relief Factor every day for their back and neck pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, knee pain, etc. And now they're in less or no pain at all. That's the truth. I'd like you to try it. 3-week quick start is just $19.95. In 3 weeks, you'll know if it works. How's that? Is that a great thing or what? Cancel if it doesn't work. Otherwise, it's the best $19.95 you will have spent. That's the quick start, relieffactor.com.
E-cigarettes are dangerous. Dr. Charles Snyderman has an update.
There are now hundreds of reports of severe lung inflammation following use of e-cigarettes, or so-called vaping, and at least one death associated with vaping. It is not clear whether all these involve cartridges not supplied by the manufacturer. Public health officials are urging everyone not to vape. Charles Snyderman, Washington.
The U.S. Appeals Court says travelers can now sue the government over mistreatment by federal airport screeners because the agents can act like law enforcement officers, including when they conduct invasive searches. The 9-4 decision Friday by the 3rd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals overturned earlier rulings and is a setback for the TSA and its screeners. The government is generally immune from lawsuits, but a federal law lets people sue over the actions of officers who can conduct searches and arrest people. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The nation's oldest Supreme Court justice is on the road to recovery.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg says she's on her way to being what she calls very well following radiation treatment for cancer. The 86-year-old justice spoke at the Library of Congress National Book Festival in Washington, an event that came a little more than a week after Ginsburg disclosed that she had completed 3 weeks of outpatient radiation therapy for a cancerous tumor on her pancreas. Bob Agnew reporting.
Sirhan, imprisoned for more than 50 years for the 1968 assassination of Senator Robert Kennedy, was hospitalized yesterday after being stabbed by a fellow inmate at a San Diego prison. And Spain's former monarch Juan Carlos I released from the hospital just a week after successful triple bypass surgery, said he's, quote, feeling phenomenal and, in his words, with new plumbing. You can check out more on these stories at townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
Are you tired of the courts usurping your freedom? America is supposed to be a democracy, but 9 unelected justices sitting up high in Washington, D.C. are making laws which they have no right to make. Join Richard Nixon live in the Legal Lounge every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on CRNTalk.com. Richard Nixon's a practicing attorney and noted author, and we talk all things legal, all things constitutional from a strict constructionalist perspective. Join Richard Nixon live in the Legal Lounge every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time on CRN Digital Talk Radio, CRNTalk.com.
Want to build your brand? Get boldly distinctive results with Catalyst Nutraceuticals. Catalyst Nutraceuticals are your full-service specialists for formulating and manufacturing. Let us handle your nutritional supplements. Let Catalyst Nutraceuticals make a difference for your product and brand. Go to catalystnutra.com, CATALYSTNUTRA.com, or call 678-641-9941.
Hi, this is Ron Sedgy, inviting you to join me for The Tonight Show of Radio every Saturday night, 9 to 11 Pacific Standard Time on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Now in our 24th year and well over 19,000 guests, The Ron Sedgy Show live originates from our Universal Radio studios. Celebrities from TV, music, movies, literature, politics, and show business, at one time or another, they all come to The Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show. And welcome to our co-host, Ken Jeffries. How are you doing today, Ken?
Hi, it's been another fun week.
It has been. Our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes, is here. How are you, Con?
I'm doing very well. Happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you back. You were on special assignment previously, but
yeah,
we're
special
back.
assignment in Las Vegas, doing a story, doing some research on
kind of special
on craps and how much money you can lose playing craps.
Can I just give a shout out right now from a friend of mine who's watching in Spain?
Please.
My
Wow.
friend Ginny Pryor, a longtime broadcasting friend of mine, is watching, and I think she's in Spain.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've gone international.
And so oui. No, that's not
close.
Close. Whatever.
I think it's Bertha. I think it's Bertha Terwilliger's birthday in Biloxi. Would you like to give a shout out to her too, Ken?
Big Bertha.
I didn't
Is she
say
related
that.
to
Are you fat shaming? Are you fat shaming Bertha Terwilliger?
Bertha Butts and the Butt Sisters, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have so much to talk about today. We're going to get to all the top news stories, the $500 million opioid judgment, and Michael Avenatti's off to trial in May. But before that, I think we have to congratulate Ken. He finally did. He and his lovely wife saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood after I've been bugging him for about 5 weeks.
Can you
on the
stop
air.
already? You're hocking me a China, as they say in Yiddish.
And as I understand it, you liked the movie.
Very well done. Very, very well done. It was a love letter, really, to Los Angeles. And the ending is interesting. Won't divulge it in case you haven't seen it.
And L.A. Radio is featured.
L.A. Radio, yeah, it's a little bit too long, but I'm not I'm not really a film critic, but it was great. The acting, DiCaprio probably deserves an Oscar, and what's his name?
I agree.
Brad Pitt was really good.
We're 2/3 of the way there. We just need to get Connor to see the film.
There it is.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I am gonna see it. I promise.
I'll give it a radio. They make great use of the KHJ radio air checks. Those are the tapes of stuff that was
Real Don
recorded off the
Steele,
air.
Robert W. Morgan, and Humble Harv. I had forgotten the story about Humble Harv. This legendary group of boss jocks, as they called them, 1965, they get onto the LA radio scene and they take over. They beat KRLA, KFWB, their competition.
So they're all on one station.
All on one station. This is KHJ 930 AM.
93 KHJ.
That's right. And so the morning guy is Robert W. Morgan. The afternoon jock is Real Don Steele. And Humble Harv is in the evening. Well, Humble Harv ran into a little trouble.
Uh-oh.
He shot and killed his wife
Sorry, what?
in 1971. This is 6 years after the launch of the station.
Oh, 71. That's incredible. All right, I'll tell you something about that.
And so what happened was they were struggling, and the gun goes off, and at first he pled not guilty, and then he said, I'm going to just plead guilty, but, it was a struggle, it was an accident, but I'm going to plead guilty. And the judge, Judge Alarcon, Arthur Alarcon, was on the trial court, who was recently on the Ninth Circuit and passed away not too long ago. He gave him only, I think, 5 years or less, and he was out after 3.5 years. And after he gets out in the mid-'70s, he's back on the air for many years, and he was a fixture in the radio scene, and the Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters and so on. Probably it was involved with them. So talk about a comeback story.
Yeah, wow. So the idea was that this was not a premeditated murder, that this was a fight that they were having, and there was a gun somehow involved?
Yeah, somehow involved. He used the gun to shoot
You know
her
what?
dead.
Among radio people later, you'd bring up Humble Harvey and say, yeah, killed his wife. It's like one of those things.
Well, that's what happened, and he did time for it.
Tarantino refers to that actually in the film in a rather oblique way. If you remember this.
That.
But he didn't mention Humble Harv. What happened was Brad Pitt's character.
Brad Pitt's character, right?
Who was a stuntman for DiCaprio's character, who plays an aging movie star, television star. Right. Brad Pitt's character killed his wife in the movie.
Yeah,
that's
and he got away with it.
That's right. Now they don't show it, but that's a backstory, and that might be a little tip of the cap to Humble Harv.
That's really interesting.
Who had recently passed away, by the way. And there's one more thing too, which I thought
tip of the cap is a weird way to put it when you're describing.
No, I know, but it's kind of. For people in Los Angeles, it was one of these little nuggets. Yeah. There were a whole bunch of Easter eggs in there, and stay to the end of the movie. Past the credits.
Oh, that's
just past
for
the credits.
Yeah.
Stay to the end. There's one more thing. The name Francesca Capucci. That was the name given to DiCaprio's wife in the movie.
Right.
Because he marries a woman in Italy named Francesca. Francesca Capucci is the name of a real life, and I think she may have been a newscaster on the old KIQQ in Los Angeles, which was FM 100. I heard today from my friend Lori Lerner, who is now Lori Lerner Gray, but she used to be the news director at KHJ.
Interesting.
And I heard from her this morning on Facebook, and she's because I put it up there among the. She said, yes, she was on KIQ. Francesca Capucci, who may still be around, and because she has an IMDb page.
So this movie is basically about LA radio.
These in jokes, a lot of in references, and all of that. But besides that, I'm sure he had to make a film where people who didn't grow up in Los Angeles would also understand and would also like.
So a lot of reasons
I think he did that. It was
a lot of reasons to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Okay. So let's get to the news. A $500 million opioid judgment in Midwest. I think it was Oklahoma. I could have the state wrong. Maybe it's Kansas. So let me be devil's advocate and see if you guys can set me straight here on this. The opioid pills are a legal product. They're approved by the FDA.
Right.
The manufacturers are pushing them, and allegedly they misrepresented to a degree, saying, "Oh, you really ought to give them more," or maybe they aren't as addictive as they really are. There were some sort of semi-misrepresentations, but basically it was a situation where doctors got these pills, and they knew darn well they were addictive, and they prescribed them, and then patients get them, and who knows what they know. Some of them probably know full well the addictive qualities. Some of them were using them recreationally. Some of them, who knows. I'm just asking myself, is it really fair to charge Big Pharma with the cost of solving the addiction problem when they played a little game in the lawsuit? It was not a fraud suit. If it was a fraud suit, you'd have to show that the doctor did certain things because of the lie by Big Pharma, and the patient did things because of the lie by Big Pharma. Instead, they said, no, this is just a nuisance. And if it's a nuisance, then as long as the pharma folks kind of fudged the truth, then you get them to pay for the $500 million. Now, the judge didn't go for 30 years of cost of cleaning up the addiction. He only went for 1 year, but that's still $500 million.
1 year was $500 million.
Do you think it's really fair for Big Pharma to just shift the cost to them as opposed to recognizing that a lot of doctors knew what was going on and a lot of patients did too?
So are customers going to end up paying for this thing?
I suppose they could increase the price of OxyContin.
But they're insured too. I mean, they're an insurance company.
But the question is it really fair to shift the cost? Connor, you've got a progressive take on a lot of these issues. I suppose you're not going to give Big Pharma the benefit of the doubt, are you?
No, it's certainly an odd situation because a lot of sort of man on the street random Americans would probably agree with your intuition that we don't hold Smith & Wesson liable if Humble Harv kills his wife, right?
Those lawsuits against gun manufacturers
they fail.
They generally fail. They get filed, but they generally fail.
And this does seem like there's an even bigger difference. There's another layer in there. You've got the doctor whose job it is to hand out these drugs in a safe way. In the middle, who should, if that's kind of like a bad intervening actor, if they make mistakes, that should cut off liability. But the attitude of the judges, and I think a lot of the public, has come to think that Big Pharma's attitude is, look at the shareholder meetings that these big pharma companies hold, where they turn them into a circus, and they get these representatives up there, and they're shouting to these pharmaceutical reps, the salespeople, like, you're all going to buy boats, you're all going to buy third houses, and it's going to be so incredible.
They throw out fentanyl patches to the crowd?
Exactly. And they're just pushing it incredibly hard, and they've got all these techniques specifically for how do we sell these drugs to doctors such that those doctors will be our salesmen on the ground. And the response that people have come up with is, look, they're just putting a product out there. Yeah, that product is legal. But when you are putting out a product that is that's dangerous, that people can ruin people's lives and kill them, and in addition to not just like guns where they can die, but that there's this amount of like trust. You place a lot of trust in a pill that you get. This pill is not going to hurt me. Everybody gets a gun. They buy a gun and they're like, I know exactly what this does. This shoots bullets and I have to be very careful with it. But you get a pill from your doctor and the doctor says it's going to help you, it's going to make you feel better, it's going to solve your problems. You got to place a lot of trust in it.
Almost took poor Rush Limbaugh down. You were going to make a comment.
I want to bring up the case real quick, and I'm not sure if you're up to date on this. Tyler Skaggs, the Angel pitcher, and the thing came out.
The news just broke, right?
It broke yesterday.
Yeah.
Of the what do you call it? The autopsy broke, and it included drugs, and they said accidental
fentanyl,
overdose.
OxyContin, and alcohol.
Well, and I think is the family looking at whether or not the Angels or a doctor for the Angels, and you'd have to help me with this.
There was
involved in this.
Yeah, there was a reference in the LA Times sports page section about the possibility that maybe an Angels employee was involved somehow.
So, from a legal standpoint, is the team liable, or we don't know that yet, or what happened?
Sure, if the team knew or had reason to believe that maybe their folks were doing some funny business, illegal stuff, then they theoretically could be liable to the family. If the team had absolutely no knowledge, then probably they wouldn't be responsible for it. But I mean, I think of the analogy to tobacco. So the Surgeon General's report comes out in 1964, and before that, probably people suspected, but they didn't really know. So poor Don Draper was smoking away at his Mad Men agency in Manhattan in 1962.
A lot of smoking in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Once Upon a Time in
Hollywood. That's all they do is smoke.
But that's
exactly.
that's another side.
So, but that was 1964. Now you roll out these tobacco suits in the 90s, the 2000s. Give me a break. Everybody knew that nicotine is very addictive. It causes cancer and emphysema and all these other horrible problems. And yet we shift the cost of health issues and to help folks who have tobacco-related illnesses to tobacco because they're big tobacco and they got all this money. So to me, it's kind of similar to trying to blame the gun industry and big pharma and tobacco. It's really a political, sociological issue in terms of cost shifting. I mean, really, was it fair to blame big tobacco when everybody kind of had to know that this was addictive? And clearly, even more clearly than in the opioid situation, I think the tobacco industry lied about disease and addictive qualities and so on.
Funded studies that
but are we really comfortable just saying, okay, you're big and wealthy and you were kind of guilty, so you should pay trillions?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's too big a stretch.
They were making money off it,
right? That you made billions off of this.
But then it was our fault, or we didn't have the self-control to stop smoking and so on.
We
as a people.
To say it's basically what you're basically saying is like. These healthcare costs that come at the end of years later that take years to manifest are what economists would call a negative externality of the process of making money previously. So if you're a company that pumps out toxic sludge into the river and it poisons the river and kills all the fish and damages people's health down the road, that you're able to take this cost, the cost of doing business of making making nuclear weapons or atomic energy or whatever other stuff that produces toxic sludge. the cost should include everything it should include the trash that you create at your factory that you have to pay to take to a dump or have destroyed or recycled or whatever. It should include your cost of paying your wages to your laborers, and it should also include the cost of any negative externalities that you generate. And to the extent that pollution is a negative externality, that's pretty clear and obvious. Okay, you got a smokestack that's pumping, carbon into the atmosphere. You should say, well, either capture that carbon or pay for it somehow because it affects everybody. In the same way, you could say that people getting sick from your product is just like people getting sick from the toxic sludge you put in the river.
These economists, they're so fancy with their negative externalities, They're so proud of using
externality?
Words. Yeah, this is...
I had one once. I went to the doctor and I had it lanced, an externality.
They shoved it right back in.
They should speak English. When we come back, we are going to switch gears, and instead of talking about some people or industries that are possibly guilty, arguably guilty, we're going to talk about somebody who's absolutely, there's no doubt, totally guilty, and that's Michael Avenatti.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he hasn't had his trial yet. He's going to have his trial in May.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Santa Ana, California, in federal court. And I'm here to predict right now, he's going to blame it on Donald Trump and find one anti-Trump juror.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
The widely popular book Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Is in theaters. What does actress Cate Blanchett say is one of her favorite relationships in the film?
There's a cataclysmic relationship that she has with her neighbour, from her perspective, a busybody parent at the school. And often the person that you have the most antagonistic relationship you have a lot in common with. And I think that's a bit of a revelation for both of them.
Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Rated PG-13. Rated PG-13. For this entertainment answer, I'm Matt Mungle.
Looking for an intimate, romantic getaway? Escape to Maui's premier bed and breakfast, The Plantation Inn, a quiet oasis in the heart of Lahaina town. Guest rooms and suites offer Hawaiian plantation decor, combined with modern amenities, and surrounded a serene courtyard with a pool, jacuzzi, and lush tropical foliage. The inn is located just steps from Lahaina's historic Front Street for an easy stroll to museums, galleries, shops, and restaurants. Call 667-9225 or visit theplantationinn.com and plan your getaway now.
Hi, I'm Fred Dreyer. You have all helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. Now, Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to my listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the radio listener specials. And you can save up to 50% off on MyPillows, mattress toppers, bed sheets, and so much more. For example, the body pillow is regularly $89.99, but with promo code WINNER, it's only $29.99. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Just go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener special and save up to 50% off, including the body pillow, for only $29.99. Enter promo code WINNER or call 800-513-3363 for these great specials.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was a location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal, marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries, our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. We are going to talk about Michael Avenatti, but let's get back to our favorite feature, Moron of the Week.
Hey, it's back.
All right, it's back. We got two very stupid people here. We're going to vote at the end of the show on who these
two very stupid people. Oh, him and me.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Okay. Hey!
Oh, You misunderstood. And I'm not even talking about Michael Avenatti, two other folks. So our first candidate for Moron of the Week, a pretty solid candidate. A white Oklahoma City news anchor found herself in hot water after making a racist comment about her black colleague, comparing him to an ape on air.
On air?
Alex Housden, a lady, she's an anchor with Coco News, was doing a segment about a gorilla at the Oklahoma City Zoo when her black morning news anchor Jason Hackett with him, and she quipped, "Kind of looks like you." Hackett, who was probably rattled by the comment, went along and said, "He kind of does actually, yeah, but the internet wasn't having it." 100,000 views. It quickly went viral. Of course, she was very apologetic after getting hit with a barrage of criticism. It was inappropriate, and I hurt people. She said, I want you to know I understand how much I hurt you, Jason, and I'm really sorry. I would never do anything on purpose to hurt her. So, what do you think? Pretty strong candidate for Moron of the Week?
Yeah, and she should be fired, too. And I saw that, and I saw the apology. Well, I saw both. I think the comments she made, and then the apology.
Was it
which
a lame
worse.
Apology? Like, well, if anyone was offended, if anybody was offended.
The strangest part was, and it was, well, I don't say it was kind of funny. He was staring daggers at her. You'd have to see the co-anchor, the African American co-anchor, was staring as she was trying to make this apology. He looked like he was ready to kill her.
She says, "We're becoming a more diverse country.
And then
there's no excuse."
And then she held his arm as she, in a way. I mean, she touched him, which was kind of strange. Yeah, not a good look. I mean, it was like the weather anchor, I think, near Buffalo, New York, who referred to MLK Day as Martin Luther. Or Martin Luther, he used the word Martin Luther.
Really? And that's not good. That's not good. So I think it's going to be tough to beat this candidate.
Yeah, nothing can beat it for sure.
Well, I don't know. Hitler could beat it.
Okay, but do you have Hitler as the next moron of the month?
You'll find out in about 20 minutes.
Well, Mel Brooks used to have Hitler. Mel Brooks had Hitler on ice. I mean, he did Springtime for Hitler.
That's true.
I mean, so
that's true.
So Michael Avenatti, he's got a May trial date. He faces up to 97 years in prison. Of course, they got him on the East Coast and the West Coast with the extortion on Nike and stealing money from his clients, allegedly. My philosophy, or my theory, that is that he's going to say to himself, look, it's the Trump Department of Justice pushing some of these prosecutions. I'm going to portray myself, accurately, as a big enemy of Trump's.
Right.
He knows that a lot of people hate Trump's guts.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks probably are going to be looking at Michael Avenatti in the trial. Let's say you're on the jury, and you're asking yourself, who do I want to have a smile on his face at the end of this trial, Michael Avenatti or Donald Trump? And a lot of people would say, I don't want Trump smiling. Do you think that is a philosophy that could work for Michael?
You know, it might. It might. It's a very strong defense, and it's certainly his best defense because he's got not a lot else going on defense-wise. Basically, Avenatti's got to tell the story that there's a conspiracy, and that's a hard sell in a criminal case, especially without any sort of smoking gun indicating that there really were some people working behind the scenes who hated him specifically and were acting on behalf of the president. I think that the Department of Justice is going to have a pretty good, that is the prosecution in this case, is going to have a pretty good story to tell about the Department of Justice and basically be able to say, look, you can't just be an enemy of the president and then do whatever crimes you want and then claim that your prosecution is a result of your animosity between you and the president. We have to do our job. We have to go in every single day, no matter who is the president. We got to prosecute people who commit crimes. Yeah. And you committed some crimes. And look at this great evidence we have. Yeah. All these transcripts of you committing crimes.
In a way, it's analogous maybe to the O.J. trial, Ken, because I remember thinking, okay, you've got Mark Furman, this white racist guy, and you've got a predominantly black jury, and there was a racial element there, and you could have had the same phenomenon with the jury asking themselves, who do we want to have a smile on their face at the end of this trial, O.J. Simpson or Mark Furman? We really don't like Mark Furman, and Johnny Cochran kicked up enough dust in the trial.
Well, you know what?
Conspiracy
go back to AJ. Well, but he managed to be able to ask a question, have you used the N-word in the last 10 years? Who does that? How is he able to do that? And for lack of a better expression, how is he able to get away with that?
Well, F. Lee Bailey, cross-examining Furman, knew that Furman had used the N-word repeatedly to the North Carolina screenwriter, and so he was goading him into and so that's why that worked. It kind of reminds me of that great Norm Macdonald line.
He got trapped. I'm not backing Furman necessarily, but how he got trapped.
I hope not. You're going to get letters.
Oh, yeah.
So the Norm Macdonald line about the O.J. Simpson trial was that Johnny Cochran put on the knit watch cap and was part of a final argument, and supposedly the prosecution says that's what O.J. wore, and it was going really well until O.J. blurted out to Johnny Cochran in open court, "Hey, careful with that. That's my Lucky Stabbin' hat." And of course, that could have a negative impact.
Probably
play well. No.
When we get back, Jonah Goldberg asks if Trump is a few fries short of a Happy Meal. Stick with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show. Is getting a full night's rest a struggle because your sheets won't stay in place? Do your sheets make you hot at night, causing you to toss and turn? I've been there, but not anymore. Thanks to MyPillow's Giza cotton sheets, I'm getting a full night's rest without the hassle of fixing my sheets. Giza cotton sheets by MyPillow are made with the world's best cotton. It's called Giza, G-I-Z-A. It's grown only in a small area near the Mediterranean Sea. Its cotton is so super smooth and breathable, and they're extremely durable, made with deep pockets that'll fit over any bed. And just like those MyPillows we love so much, our Giza sheets are made right here in the USA with 100% machine washable and dryable cotton. Go to MyPillow.com and order your Giza sheets today and receive 30% off and free shipping when you use the promo code WINNER. That's right, free. That's MyPillow.com and promo code WINNER. Get yours today. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code WINNER. Hi, everybody. Michael Horn from CRNTalk.com. You know, we provide you with the best in talk radio. 8 channels of talk radio, from radio on the left, radio on the right, sports talk, business talk, religious talk, Spanish talk, you name it, we've got talk radio for you. All at CRNTalk.com. Well, now we'll bring you video as well as audio. That's right. Watch your favorite shows like The Robert Conrad Show, The Fred Dreyer Program, What's Cooking Today, What's Cooking on Wine, The Lounge, and so many other shows in video right at our website, CRNTalk.com. You can also watch us on Roku. Just search CRN Talk, and you can watch us on Roku on any TV anywhere in the world. Also on Facebook Live. Go to Facebook.com/CRN Digital Talk. Facebook.com/CRN Digital Talk. Roku, search CRN Talk. Check us out on Tiki Live and at CRNTalk.com. Video for you talk fans, all from CRN Talk. CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was a location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal, marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for 2. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Hi, everyone. This is Fred Dreyer telling you about my favorite Italian restaurant. It's Angelo's and Vinci's in Fullerton, California. Angelo's and Vinci's has the best pasta, the best seafood, the best salad, spaghetti, lasagna, and the most incredible pizza. And the chicken is delicious. Marsala, piccata, cacciatore, parmigiana, and more. For desserts, try our spumoni or our tiramisu, my favorite, flown in fresh from Italy. And the cannolis and the zeppolis are out of this world. Open for lunch and dinner. And don't miss the Sunday champagne brunch, just $23.95. Are you kidding me? It's all up the road from Disneyland at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Angelo's and Vinci's, like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. Call 714-879-4022 or visit us online at angeloandvinci's.com.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. I love this song. I'm glad that
our
we
favorite
played.
song.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, yeah, you can love it.
Great American hero. So we got to give a shout out to our pal Doug McIntyre. We understand he's watching here on the
Hi,
Facebook
Doug.
stream, and it's ironic because we each have a connection with Doug McIntyre. So I think we ought to go into this. He was great to me. Doug put me on like 45 days in a row during the Michael Jackson trial years ago, and helped establish me. So I owe a big debt of gratitude.
Yeah, you'd be living under a bridge.
Connor was an intern on Doug McIntyre's KBC morning show.
And it had nothing to do with the fact that he was my father.
No, nothing.
Nothing to do
and
with
so
it.
it just propelled Connor into an.
I was there on pure merit.
Maybe that Doug was your father.
So these two, and then Ken, as I understand, when Ken joined KBC, Doug said, "What the hell? Ken sucks. Let's fire him."
Right.
But
So they
didn't.
all have a Doug
So we
connection.
all have a Doug
We all have a
connection.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
I'm kidding. Doug never said anything like that about
Being
Ken.
an intern for
How do you know?
for Doug was great. There was coffee in the office that I got to drink, even though I didn't really drink much coffee then. I did very little work, and everybody was very nice to me. And I spent a great summer before I went off to college, and then I got to see what the inside of the radio business was like.
Fond memory. So thank you, Doug McIntyre.
Did I say I did very little work? I mean, I worked really hard.
Can I just say one more thing? My old high school friends in South Florida are watching, and I guess they're going to be Sprunt the spare. What did I say? Sprunt?
They're going to be.
You're making up words.
Spared the brunt. So it's a good thing I don't get paid the
First, negative exigencies or
They
externalities or
spared
whatever.
the brunt of the hurricane, apparently.
Good.
But it's going to go north.
Well, let's
to
just put it this
wherever
way,
it is.
Ken. They've got our thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
Thoughts and prayers. Yeah,
They've got our thoughts and prayers.
And my Sprunt.
So here's a pet peeve I've got. Jonah Goldberg, big conservative guy. I don't know if he's a never Trumper, but he's not real wild about Trump. So he writes a piece for the LA Times this week, and it's titled, "Is Trump a few fries short of a Happy Meal?" And then he goes on. He's like Hemingway. He says, the commander-in-chief's cheese might have slid off his cracker. Then he says, the president's wheel might still be turning, but the hamster's dead. And finally, he says the West Wing's nurse might have accidentally switched his meds for M&Ms. Now, these vivid expressions are part of a critical column, as you can imagine, by Jonah Goldberg. So first, I'm really impressed that he came up with all these swell expressions. But secondly, it strikes me...
At least he didn't say Trump cut the cheese.
That's true.
Yeah.
It strikes me that at least conservatives, a bunch of them, are willing to blast away at Trump, whereas I don't ever really see progressive left-wing columns coming out attacking Biden or Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders. I mean, doesn't that show that at least some conservatives are willing to throw their own, half of the ideological spectrum under the bus, whereas on the left it seems like it's all, circle the wagons and we're never going to say anything bad about Buttigieg. No, Buttigieg has never done anything bad.
Neil Cavuto did it this week on Fox, too, because Trump tweeted out Fox doesn't work for us anymore or whatever it was. And then Cavuto says, no, Mr. President, we don't work for you.
Right.
It's like there's a feud between
went
Trump and Fox, which is further evidence of this Goldberg phenomenon.
So Jonah Goldberg has come up with a lot of excellent analogies.
Weren't they wonderful?
Things that we already know. That
hamster's
he apparently
dead?
is now just coming upon multiple years into the Trump presidency. And it's easy to criticize a guy who looks, like he's doing very badly, and everyone agrees is a terrible president.
Not everyone.
That's not true. Everyone doesn't agree.
60 million people voted for him, and I don't know,
but his LA
probably
Times,
most of them would be happy to vote for him again. Do you think
the
only
horrifying
55
truth.
million? That's still 50 million people.
The one thing the Cavuto thing brings up, and maybe Goldberg too, they're both conservative, right? So who's the gentleman running now? And I forgot his name. The You Lie gentleman. He said that to Obama, the congressman.
Joe somebody.
Joe, yeah.
Sure.
And he's coming out and saying,
Connor's willing to believe us that his name is Joe.
I think it is, yeah, and forgot his name already. Oh boy, and saying something to the effect of, that Trump is no good, that the attack is coming from the right, and that might be effective to bring down Trump.
It's just hilarious to me that we're looking around and we're clapping conservatives on the back for seeing that Trump is bad.
Walsh.
Now, in 2019, middle of 2019, now you realize
my
Trump
point,
is bad.
though, Connor, you're not disturbed that it's a pretty much of a solidarity thing on the left?
No, I actually don't think so, because I think that there's going to be solidarity most of the time, and when they see the danger of a Trump being reelected, people certainly do circle the wagons and close ranks, because strategic scientifically they understand that literally any candidate, even Joe Biden, would be way, 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 way better than Trump, and thus they're circling the wagons because everything's comparative.
But Joe made up a story this week.
Yeah, so Joe's terrible.
Conflated 3 or 4 different stories.
Joe's real bad. He'd be a very bad candidate, and I think he would be a bad president. He would be about like bottom 30 or 40 presidents. But okay.
Well, you don't know. I mean, it's who knows what.
But like.
There only been about 45.
I know, yeah. He'd be bad.
And Gillibrand dropped out, and Gillibrand, I mean,
thank goodness. So like we've got. You don't see Democrats lashing out at their friends in the same party, but that's because you can't compare how bad Trump and these Democrats are. No Democrat is anywhere near as bad a candidate as Trump is. Trump is an insanely, historically, horrifically bad candidate and president. So of course they're going to criticize him from his own house.
Ken mentioned that Gillibrand is out. I am so glad that she is out. I could not remember whether it was Kristen or Kirsten. I couldn't remember if it was Gillibrand
because
or
Gillibrand. You don't have to worry about her anymore.
I don't have to worry about that
and probably
anymore.
The next guy will be her fellow traveler from New York. I mean, I use that politically, I guess, is de Blasio will probably drop out.
Oh, yeah, he'll get out.
But he's still in. He's still in, although he didn't qualify, I think, for the next debates.
Yeah, I don't imagine.
He hasn't dropped out.
I don't imagine you can continue if you're out of the debate. I mean, how can people won't even remember you?
I'm just glad I don't have to try to pronounce her name anymore. Buttigieg, I'm fine with that. Because
we're good.
People explain.
You know what they did in New York, by the way? They apparently de Blasio, as mayor of New York, actually went back to New York to assume some of his duties, and if somebody put up a big sign, "Welcome to Iowa." Because to trick him into thinking he's still campaigning, so he would come back once in a while to
do his
mansion in New York.
My other problem with Gillibrand, besides the fact that I couldn't pronounce her name, is, I mean, talk about a hypocrite. She was basically a centrist. She was from a part of New York State that, sort of countrified. She was a big gun area, and so she was in favor of all this gun stuff. And then she changed every single position to be much more progressive because, I'm going to run for president now, and I've got to be viable and so on. And she raised her hand with everybody else about, free health care for illegals and so on. So I'm kind of glad that she's out. But, and plus I didn't know how to pronounce her name.
But also her role maybe in pushing Al Franken out of the Senate, because she was one of the first to say that there were some stories about that didn't help her.
She really pushed hard on that. Yeah. So let's talk about Siri, guys. I'm very disturbed at the idea that they have Amazon employees sitting around with headsets listening to people who have Alexa devices and so on, jotting stuff down. Yeah. And people who are planning crimes or having sex and stuff like that are
Siri, play Murder on My Mind on Spotify.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing.
Murder on My Mind.
It's a good
what
song.
did you think?
Glenn Campbell, that was Gentle on My Mind. I'm sorry.
Do you think Apple is going to be able to reassure people that this isn't like 1984, George Orwell with the two-way screens in your homes, and you see the little Alexa device? It looks like an innocent hockey puck, but it's actually listening. I mean, it's voice actuated maybe, but maybe it's running all the time.
Yeah, well, it's got to be running all the time to be able to hear when you say, "Hey Alexa," or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I
don't have one of those things. Do you guys have those things?
Yeah, I do. I think that people get used to almost anything, and they're going to get used to this. I think that that Apple actually has done some stuff that was maybe a publicity stunt, but also was them taking a stand previously to indicate we really care about privacy. If you guys remember the controversy over the San Bernardino terrorist shooting and the locked iPhone, and the Department of Justice.
Apple wouldn't help the DOJ crack the password thing.
Give us, 10 engineers and for 20 hours and help us and write the software that would be needed to create the backdoor for this phone specifically. And Tim Cook for Apple said, that's not how this works. This is different than what everybody's analogy where they say, well, there's no safe that can't be unlocked by a warrant. You can't just say, well, I don't want to make a key that would open this. This is a key. This is a master key that would unlock tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of devices, and there's no way to guarantee that it will be destroyed when it's done. And guess what? You can go to New York and you can see that they've got 175 phones yet to be cracked, that the head of the police department is going, well, if you can get into the San Bernardino murderer's phone, you can get into all these murderers' phones, gosh darn it. and
so
do it.
You mentioned Tim Cook. I think his name is actually Tim Apple.
Tim Apple, right? Yeah, Tim Apple.
The president changed the name officially.
If the president calls you a new name, that's your name.
And didn't they find some 16-year-old World of Warcraft player who was able to crack the password? Some guy.
Did they really?
Forward. Yeah, he stepped forward after Apple refused to do it. That's how they got the password.
Wow. Yeah, because it's an arms race, right? Like cybersecurity is a constant arms race, and you can go back to Apple, iPhone 8 or whatever, and there are now devices you can plug into it, and it bypasses the way that because the problem is if you try too many times, the phone gets locked, and it gets locked for longer and longer periods of time until it's locked for 10,000 years, and you can never get in. So you have to bypass that, and then you can brute force your way through it because it's only so many combinations of numbers. So you just have to get past the thing that shuts it down if you've tried too many times. And every generation of iPhones is eventually cracked, but then the new generation comes out before, and people are still using the old one. They've got to upgrade, and that's the arms race of technology. You can never ever really stop it.
So I got an Alexa device and one of these hockey pucks for Lauren, and so we get it, and as a joke, we're just setting it up as a joke. The very first thing we asked Alexa to do, we're standing around the kitchen, and I say, Alexa, play Jimmy Crack Corn, and Lauren goes nuts, my wife, because she says, oh, now you're going to let her think that I like music like Jimmy Crack Corn. This is terrible.
She kept on saying, oh, but I don't care. Okay.
Well, I just thought it was fun because now whenever Lauren, she's worried. Alexa, play Judy Collins, Both Sides Now. I expect Alexa to say, are you sure you don't want to hear Jimmy Crack Corn? So that was my idea.
So what happened? So did it play Jimmy Crack Corn?
Of course it did. Yeah. So that's one of the benefits. Now the issue of Bernie Sanders campaigning is kind of fun for me. He was in Iowa recently, and he's actually playing softball, and he's 77, and he's really hitting the ball and throwing it really well, and he's impressing everybody.
Good job,
the problem is the downside. The reporters overheard him say, hey, this is really cool. We don't have softball in Russia.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Now the second thing he did wrong, Ken, is flummoxed.
And he hit it he did a speed back thing too.
Problem is he could only move to his left. That's he didn't have the mobility. So the second thing Bernie did is he's talking about China. He loves it over there in China. He says, they've pretty much cleaned up that poverty problem over in China. And I'm thinking, it's great to have clothing and a roof over your head and all your medical bills paid. But when this totalitarian regime, slits your throat if you say anything bad about Kim Jong-un or Castro.
That takes care of that problem, right?
Yeah. I mean, what isn't this classic Bernie to talk about, well, at least they've solved the hunger problem over there in China. Don't we have ways of solving the problem in America without analogizing it to communist Red China?
Killing all the homeless, maybe?
So these are conversations, these are conversations that people, you prompt a guy who's self-identified as a Democratic Socialist for years, decades, and you say
not a
things
Democrat,
like,
and he's not a member. I don't know if he's not a member of the Democratic Party at all.
So
he
say
caucuses with them in the Senate, but he's technically
not.
An
independent.
Right?
So you say to him, how can you support socialism? What about the atrocities that are committed abroad? And what about the tragedy? And what about the China rounding up of the Muslim Uyghur minority and putting them in re-education camps right now, and then lying about it on the world stage? And what about all the people that they kicked out for the Olympics and tore down their homes and took all of their possessions, and now those people starved to death? And what about this horrible stuff that happens in socialist
don't stop. Keep going. You've got more examples.
And
you're on a roll
and
here.
Finally, you get Bernie Sanders to say, "Oh, okay, right, but I'm not trying to do any of that. Obviously, what I'm trying to do is get the benefits of a socialist system that does things like has big government solutions to solve a persistent problem that we have in our nation. Like in America, we have a persistent poverty and homelessness problem, and you can use big government solutions to solve or relieve those issues. And then you get a quote in the newspaper that says Bernie loves it in China where they murder people, and you're like, that's not what Democratic Socialists say, but it's the only way that conversations go around anybody who identifies as a Democratic Socialist. You get the questions about what about the atrocities. They're obviously not in favor of the atrocities.
I do love fluid conversations. Yeah. Well, let's move to Biden over in New Hampshire, and that was the problem. He was on the trail a couple of days ago, and he's in Keene, New Hampshire, and he said, isn't this I love Vermont this time of year. It's just so incredible. And of course, apparently he made some stuff up about pinning medals on people. He's talking about poor people being just as smart as white people.
It's not good.
Do we think that?
That's right. I forgot about that.
I would
do
say,
we think that he's kind of lost it?
I would say that his cheese has slid off the cracker.
Slid off the crack, and he wasn't too keen.
The hamster's dead.
His mind wasn't too keen.
So the
Washington, New Hampshire.
Yeah, the Washington Post reported
spelled differently. I know
that the Washington Post spoke to more than a dozen military and campaign sources, got the background on the real story of the war story that Biden described. Biden had described a heroic act, and then someone refusing a medal when offered because the person said, "Well, the guy who's dead deserves a medal, not me. Yeah, I tried to pull him out or whatever, but that guy's dead." And so what's the moral of that story, Biden? I'm not sure. Maybe that we're throwing our troops' lives away, being an imperial state abroad, but whatever. Who cares what conclusion he draws from it? The point is, he tells this story, and the Washington Post reported that Biden, quote, got the time period, the location, the heroic act, the type of medal, the military branch, the rank of the recipient, as well as Biden's own role in the ceremony of pinning the medal on him, wrong.
Picky.
Everything was wrong.
So somebody who got it wrong this week was Lawrence O'Donnell. So he's on MSNBC.
Yes, he did.
And apparently, for some reason, his source convinced him that there were Russians that were co-signing for Donald Trump loans.
Yeah, I saw that, and he did a little crosstalk with Rachel Maddow from her show going into his, and she seemed shocked by that. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I wonder how that happens. Why would he be so confident in it that he would run with it and then have to, have egg on his face and
they retracted
apologize?
Well, there may be some truth in it, but we don't know. And it's whatever it was, he didn't run by any of his bosses at NBC or MSNBC.
Right.
And should he get punished for it? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he should.
Probably should.
Because, a lot of people talk a big game about Deutsche Bank and
he's not a reporter. He's a
money
talk show
laundering
host.
issues, but we don't actually have the documents yet. The subpoenas have not come in yet, and Deutsche Bank has Trump's tax returns, and we'll probably get them from them eventually, but not yet. So
the good news is that any publicity is good publicity, they say, and
True.
Everybody's talking about O'Donnell. When we come back, I was in San Francisco this week, and I learned they've banned waste baskets. I'll explain why.
What?
You'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Savor the past and savor the glory days of Las Vegas. Enjoy 70 years of true Las Vegas history as 4 generations of family wait to greet you at the legendary Bootlegger Italian Bistro. Wine, dine, and experience Mama Maria's award-winning original recipes while surrounded by original family photos and celebrity memorabilia. Enjoy piano artistry nightly with music from the Great American Songbook in our main formal dining room. The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, open 24/7, 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard South, in the entertainment capital of the world. The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard South, in the entertainment capital of the world. It's Vegas, baby.
This is the entertainment answer. What is our Blu-ray pick of the week? Well, it has to be Avengers Endgame. The emotional follow-up to Infinity War is now here for us to watch again, cry again, cheer again. Whether you've seen it once or a dozen times, it never loses its entertainment value. All your favorite characters are back in this one, plus tons of extras, behind-the-scenes moments. It's rated PG-13, so like all the other Marvel films, know your audience. Avengers Endgame available on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital. For this entertainment answer, I'm Matt Mungle.
Hi, I'm Fred Dreyer. You have all helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. Now, Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to my listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the radio listener specials. And you can save up to 50% off on MyPillows, mattress toppers, bed sheets, and so much more. For example, the body pillow is regularly $89.99, but with promo code WINNER, it's It's only $29.99. Remember, all My Pillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Just go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener special and save up to 50% off, including the body pillow, for only $29.99. Enter promo code WINNER or call 800-513-3363 for these great specials.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Want to build your brand? Get boldly distinctive results with Catalyst Nutraceuticals. Catalyst Nutraceuticals are your full-service specialists for formulating and manufacturing. Let us handle your nutritional supplements. Let Catalyst Nutraceuticals make a difference for your product and brand. Go to catalystnutra.com, CATALYSTNUTRA.com, or call 678-641-9941.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So we've got our Facebook viewers here. I'll shout out to a couple of folks. Henry Bushkin, Bombastic Bushkin, is watching. Hello, Henry. I loved your book, Johnny Carson. Everybody should go out and read it.
Very interesting.
A
book,
wonderful memoir, and of course, he's famous, Bombastic Bushkin. And Tom Likas is watching. Hello, Tom. Brilliant talk show host. Had some fun times.
We could do a whole show on shout-outs to people.
Exactly. That's right. So, moron of the week, our second candidate. We had a candidate, a female white news anchor who compared her black anchor to a gorilla. She, I think, is the leader in the clubhouse. But let's have another candidate.
Let's see if you can top that.
Of the week. A Waukeset, Maine mom and son were both charged with DUIs within 3 hours. She came to pick up her son from the station, but when she showed up to pick him up, she was reeking with alcohol, and so she was arrested for DUI as well. So how do you like that? She kept it in the family, you know? A little ironic. The kid was in for drunk driving, and now the mom. So
what a legacy, huh?
What do you think? Do you think she qualifies? Is she up there with the female anchor with the horrific racist comment?
You know, as racist as that anchor was, she couldn't have killed anybody with a vehicle on the way.
That's true.
So that's I mean, you got to compare.
You know what? Maybe she wasn't. It was a clueless statement to make.
Yeah.
And I've made them too before, so I'd say the second one.
Can we have it be a tie this week?
Yeah, let's make it a tie. Let's make it a tie. All right, so here's the San Francisco story. I'm up in San Francisco this week for mediation. I'm in a conference room, and I desperately need a waste basket to dispose of something. I won't bore you with what I wanted to get rid of, but there's no waste
evidence.
There's no waste basket in the damn room, okay? Yeah. And so I'm looking around, and I go outside, and they say, "Oh, we don't have waste baskets in San Francisco any longer." No, you have to go to a communal garbage disposal area, and they have 5 bins lined up, different colors, little labels, and one's for compost, one's for plastic disposable, one's non-plastic recyclable, and regular garbage. And so you can't just, you have to pile up your crap in the room all day long and then lug it and then spend 20 minutes to figure it out. San Francisco values at work. Connor, could you possibly defend this excess of progressivity?
Yeah. I think if it takes you 20 minutes to sort your handful of garbage from compost
I had a whole lot of garbage that day.
Then it's an important exercise for you to go through so that you can become educated about just how much waste we all
So we should have
create.
like that re-education camp that they're going to send
a recycling education camp. Exactly. We'll send you to a camp, and you can figure out how to. You have to use your finger and scrape out the inside of your Starbucks cup.
Oh!
That's compost, right? Right, and then you throw that in the compost, and then you have the cup, and you have to rip the cup in half.
You can't just go to a recycling bin and just throw your recyclables. Now you got to figure out is it compost? Is it what else?
And you
pull
out your recycling hatchet. You have to carry your recycling hatchet everywhere, and then the outside of the Starbucks cup is sort of a waxy layer. There's a wax bin, so you got to scrape off the wax into the bin.
This is just San Francisco values at work. First they let Kate Steinley's killer go, and now this. The conviction was overturned because the judge didn't provide the proper jury instructions. So how you guys tired of bad news? You want a feel-good story?
Yeah, please.
Let's have a feel-good story.
Thank you.
Dairy Queen hamburgers are not made of human flesh. A coroner in Greenville, South Carolina, has confirmed that the ground beef patties from a local Dairy Queen are not, in fact, made out of human flesh. It's like that candidate a few years ago when she had to say, "I'm not a witch," when she was running for Senate.
Right.
The confirmation comes in the wake of rumors swirling about the fast food joint after it was hit with a federal raid on Wednesday. The store's manager, Saif Momin, said he was notified by a corporate inspector somebody lodged a complaint about human meat being inside a burger.
What?
But nope, it's not true. You can breathe easy. You can go relax at a Dairy Queen.
That makes me want to eat
Sure,
a
in the
Dairy
knowledge
Queen.
you're not being a cannibal.
So that you really want to have the cannibal special.
Yeah, it's very weird. I gotta say it may be a feel-good story in a sense, but bad news.
You know, somehow I don't.
Dairy Queen.
I don't feel good. I don't know why it is.
You don't know why
that
not?
I'll take you to Dairy Queen. You'll feel better. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And finally, in England, they ban sex in portable toilets. They have motion detectors and an alarm sounds if you do that. So it was a problem. Have a great week. See you next time, folks.
Which was most important because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio shows sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition